Welcome back. Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm going to continue my session on caregiving. So in this session, I'm going to talk about when I recognized that my parents, living in their own home, were starting to need help. I mentioned in my last video that I had a handicapped father, a mother that was starting to become easily fatigued and dropping things a lot. And I had taken over the payment of my parents' everyday expenses, utilities. I was doing all their grocery shopping. I was bringing them meals. At this point, I was still living in my own home, but I had a sister that was single and moved in with my parents at this point. So she was actually staying there mainly because of my dad with his handicapped issues. We were trying to prevent falls. But let me tell you how I went and set up the house to make it as safe as possible for my parents. I mentioned in the last video that we did get a chairlift, and that seemed like a great thing, especially because my sister and I had to help my dad every time he needed to go up the stairs in a split level to get to the bathroom. There was no bathroom on the first floor, or wanting to go upstairs to his bedroom to take a nap or to go to bed at night. So we were constantly behind him and prevented quite a bit of falls. So we did go to a chairlift company, and we did get a chairlift installed going upstairs and then from the first floor down into their family room. The chairlift is great, but it doesn't come without problems. So, for example, something no one ever thought of with the chairlift, my dad had gone up safely, had used his walker, had gone into the bathroom, came out, was at the top of the stairs, had the chairlift seat down, ready to sit down on it. It's locked in, and then turn it to go down the stairs. Well, my dad, because he's handicapped, went from the walker to putting his weight onto the chair, on the chairlift, and it pushed the little button that turns the chairlift to go down the stairs, and also that begins the chairlift moving. And luckily, my sister was upstairs and saw this happening, and lickety-split, my dad would have flown down the stairs without the chairlift. As the chairlift went down the stairs, she grabbed my father, was able to hold back his 200 pounds by putting her foot on the wall and pulling my dad backwards and holding on to him till she could get his walker and get him steady again. So you have to be careful with everything. Also, they're not the most reliable. The chairlifts do malfunction. My dad was halfway down the staircase when it abruptly stopped, and no matter what I did, I could not get it started. And of course, these things are thousands of dollars. The investment for split level staircase, so not a super long staircase, but in two areas of the home, was somewhere in the area of $8,000. So when I called to say, my dad is stuck, it won't go, how soon can you get out here? I got 2 days from now with my dad stuck. You end up having to rely on calling the fire department will come out, or EMS will come out and help get someone off and down the staircase if need be. And we did have to rely on those services from time to time. Also, for safety reasons in the home, grab bars are very, very essential around toilets, in the shower areas. Their upstairs bathroom had a bathtub, so that shower bathtub combination was useless for us. The lower level did have a small walk-in shower, so I did have grab bars put there. However, with someone like my father needing a lot of assistance, when I showered my dad, I did put on a pair of shorts, towels, rags and towels that you would normally be throwing out, I saved and put those down on the floor and had the shower door open when the shower was going. And I would hold on to him and put him in, and I already had his walker standing in the shower stall. So as he got in, he held on to that shower, and then I was able to help him bathe in the shower with him holding onto the walker and a bar on the wall. Security systems are extremely important. They help you if you have to run out, see what's going on in the house, and also, let you know if there's a problem. So we did put in a security system and cameras. Now here, for example, my dad, who also, I wanted to back up and tell you that I also did purchase for my parents 2 of the reclining lift chairs. So they were positioned next to each other in their living room. They would sit there all day, had the big screen TV in front of them. And if my dad needed to get up, we could use the chair to at least boost him up to almost standing position, which is a lot safer than trying to grab someone and pull them up, because as they get elderly, they're fragile and you could end up hurting someone. So the lift chairs are really, really helpful. We did have my dad, my sister and I were there. This was a time when my mom was already in the hospital, so my dad was alone. We had him to the bathroom on the lift chair and back into, the stair lift, and then we had him back in his lift chair, and we said, Dad, we're gonna run out. We ordered lunch. My sister was gonna pull up and I was gonna run in and get the lunch, and as we're driving 5 minutes from the house, my sister was watching on the security camera, just thought she'd check in while I was in there getting the lunch. I was in line, and she hears my father yelling, help, help, and then crash. So she runs in and says, hurry up, we've got an emergency at home, let's go. Come to find out that when we got there, my father was laying on the floor with his walker. He apparently decided to get up from the lift chair and was going to try to take the chairlift up to the bathroom for whatever reason. He knew we were only gone a few moments. And he was laying on the floor and bleeding. So I had to call 911 and send my dad to the hospital to get him checked out. My father was on an anticoagulant like Coumadin, so you can't take the risk for a head bleed. Just the pressure of someone going down on the floor can cause all kinds of problems, and you do need to get that checked out. So that's when we learned our lesson. My parents were, I said, just starting to really need care, and an accident like that can happen because, their judgment and thinking, oh, I'm not going to bother my daughter. I could use the bathroom one more time. I'll just go do this before they get back. And then look what happens. I'll be talking in another session about the hospital situation. As soon as my dad was admitted for observation, I stayed overnight in the hospital with him. And that is going to be multiple sessions that we're going to talk about, because there are some of the real good things that happened, and then some of the nightmares in my caregiving days happened in the hospital setting. So we'll be addressing that as well. So the security cameras are important. If you do need to step out for a moment, you want to keep an eye on your loved one and make sure that nothing is going on. Also, one day, let's see, we had a guy come to the door. Couldn't really see who it was because they were well covered up. And we get a call from my mother saying, are you at the door trying to get in? I'm going to go open the door for you. And we weren't at the door. Looked at the camera, and here is a guy with black gloves on, rattling the heck out of the door. Luckily, my sister's lab Labrador Retriever dog was at the house with them and was jumping, pounding at the door, which didn't seem to faze him at all. But again, the guy did not run off, persisted in trying to shake that door, couldn't get that door, and then tried to rattle the handle on their walk-through door going into the garage. So we called 911. Of course, the police came out. He was gone by the time they were there. But you can never, ever be too safe. Having cameras to make sure someone's not falling, someone's not calling for help, or someone's not trying to get into the house. So that was another essential thing that we put quite a bit of money into, a camera system. I also relied on some support systems through my parents' doctors for some home health, particularly for my dad, for physical therapy and occupational therapy to come to the house. My dad was a job to get out of the house. In his earlier years, in his mid-60s, my sister and I were able to get him into the car using a walker coming out of the house, transfer to a wheelchair, pull him up next to the passenger side of the car, and then using a gate belt, which we'll talk about more, to pull him out of the wheelchair, swivel him, set him down in the car, and then lift his legs into the car. That was a job. And also risked at the other end, getting assistance and trying to get him out of the car and through a medical facility to physical therapy. So he did have some PTOT, physical therapy, occupational therapy at home. They can help you work on, muscle strength, balance, which is a big thing for the elderly, and maintaining their balance, even with a walker or cane, or trying to stand up to get dressed, even with assistance. They need work on balance. And then transfers, how to safely transfer from your bed to a wheelchair, or from your reclining chair to a wheelchair. They really do help with those kinds of things, and I did take advantage of that for my father. And this, sounds like, this might sound kind of silly, but I changed my parents' dinnerware, the dishes that they ate off of from in the kitchen, to Corelle dinnerware, because it was lighter weight, and if you drop the plate or the cup or the saucer, most of the times Corelle just kind of bounces and doesn't shatter. This was a real important thing for us because my mother was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and she was becoming increasingly weak in her hands, being able to grip things well enough or hold on to things. I made my mother understand that she was not to take anything from the stove and bring it to the sink or to the table, or take something out of the oven. So I was always around to do any of the reheating or cooking in the kitchen. That became an understanding between us that, any kind of food preparation was now in my hands and not hers. And I'm sure it was hard on my mother. My mother was an excellent cook and cooked meals, homemade meals all her life, cooked for my father all those years. But this was something that, she understood that she was dropping things and it wasn't safe anymore. So again, it was meal preparation, grocery shopping, picking up medications from the pharmacy, doctor appointments, going to those, and then house cleaning. So in the beginning, when my parents were just starting to need help and I was still living at home and my sister moved in with them, every Thursday after, I got things all settled with my parents, I would, quickly run home, clean my house, then go back every Thursday and clean my parents' entire house for the week. I did that weekly. you may want to get assistance with someone that can, come in and clean the house or whatever. But we decided to do it ourselves because my sister and I were facing a lot of expenses with, things like the chairlift system, which was expensive, and also the reclining lift chairs are almost a couple $1,000s each if you get the wider seats that are more comfortable, especially if someone's not feeling well, can't get to their bed. They are comfortable enough to be able to recline and sleep in those chairs if necessary. So I'm going to wrap it for today. Our next visit, I'm going to talk about some of the early on illnesses that happened with my parents, and then starting to deal with medical staff and hospitals, some of the more challenging areas of caregiving that I had to deal with. So thanks for coming by today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you have any kind of questions at all, I will get answers for you, so just private message me. Take care. Bye-bye.